Welcome to Scriptural Snapshots, brought to you by Living Faith Ministries in Kaiser, West Virginia, where we bring the living Word of God into your life. I'm Pastor Gordon Brubaker. We're doing snapshots about the law, about more specifically the Ten Commandments, but we're also talking about the effect of the law and the intent of the law. The third commandment that we're on says, says, you shall not take the name of the Lord your God in vain, for the Lord will not hold him guiltless who takes his name in vain. And we're talking about that this is really about mocking God, about man establishing his own rules without reverence to God, without deference to the God the Father, that we just do our own thing and make up our own way to go, and we don't need God, and we're smarter than God, and we're better than God, and we know all these things anymore. It's like, no, you're not smarter, you're not bigger than God, you don't know more than God. You're in the process of breaking the third commandment of mocking God and who He is, saying, well, I can do all these things. You know, Jesus said, I did not come to destroy the law, but to fulfill it. Jesus is telling us that the law is useful. The law is for the sinner. The law is for the ungodly. The law is for the unjust. And this is out of 1 Timothy 1, 8 and to 10, that the law is for the ungodly, the unholy, and profane, for murders of fathers and murders of mothers, for manslayers, for fornicators, for sodomites, for kidnappers, for liars, for perjurers, and if there is any other thing that is contrary to sound doctrine, or contrary to the will of God. He said, this is what the law is for. So when people say, well, I know more than God, the law is for you. The law in this third commandment says, don't mock God. Now, one of the reasons why laws are essential, we said that laws establish boundaries and limitations. And here's the next one. Laws protect people from abuse. Because, listen, ungodly people will abuse others because they don't believe in the law of God. People who do not live by the golden rule, do unto others as you would have them do unto you, will violate others. Why? Because they don't believe in God. They've established themselves, they're above the will of God. They know more. They don't care about God. They don't believe in God. God doesn't exist to them. So they can do pretty much whatever they want until they come up with a stronger force. And then they'll concede to that. But laws are here to protect us from the abuse of other people. This is why I've been talking about just and unjust laws. An unjust law is a law that only applies to you for your benefit. See, if it's a just law, the law is applied to everybody. Everybody plays by the same rules, because if we don't play by the same rules, then you don't know what the rules are. You can't, in ancient times when a king made an edict, the king was bound by his own edict. Whatever the king demanded from everybody else, the king had to obey too. And if the king didn't obey it, he got into trouble. Well, see, now we've got politicians, we've got business people, we've got the elite crowd, so to speak, and they're saying, well, we need to make rules for everyone else, but they don't apply to us. No, that is an unjust law, and you're making mockery of God. You're breaking the third commandment because the law doesn't apply to you. Well, no, it does. See, this is why we have laws, so that others cannot abuse other people. And when a law abuses other people, it's an unjust law. It's just that simple. It is an unjust law. You could have, well, you can't yell fire in a crowded theater. That's a just law. Why? Because if you just said, well, anybody could yell fire, you could create a panic. People could die in a stampede. This is an unjust law. To say that we're going to put you in jail if you yell fire in a crowded theater, that can be a just law. But now if it's a special son or a special individual and they yell fire, and we say, oh, well, it doesn't really apply to them. Now that's an unjust rule. It's a miscarriage of justice because we're applying different things to different people. And you shouldn't do that. And this is why so many people today are so upset with our legal system. It's not so much the law, but it's being enforced unjustly. It is enforced on one group, but not another group. This is an unjust law. The laws are here to protect the weaker from being abused by the stronger. And today we've kind of turned that around now to where the lesser are trying to impose rules and mandates on the masses, and that's an unjust law too. See, laws are to be applied equally to everyone, and that's a necessity to do in order to protect people from abuse. I just got to stop here. But we just pray that you will understand that God's laws are here to protect the weak, to protect those who cannot protect themselves from those who would misuse the laws for their own pleasure and their own purposes. I'm Pastor Gordon Brubaker. God bless you.